You mentioned this, right? You grew up an hour away from both. How big was their rivalry in high school?
I don't think they ever actually had to play each other at school. Every time they ever, because the school that Justin went to was, I believe, a classification higher than Trevor's. Trevor ended up winning a couple state championships, though. I think he won 2 or 3 state championships. I don't think Justin ever won one, but Justin was in a much bigger and more talented pool of classifications. But they did play each other a lot, like in the Elite 11 and a bunch of camps. And I've seen and that's where they've actually went head to head. These guys went head to head against each other since they were probably 15, 16 years old. But that is an ironic thing, is they never actually. There was a rivalry there because one of them was the number 1 pro style quarterback and one was the number 1 dual threat in the country. And they both grew up. One grew up in Kennesaw, Georgia, and one grew up in Cartersville, Georgia, and that's probably a 45-minute drive. And so they knew about each other their whole life, and they played against each other their whole life. Just never with their high school football team's logo on the side of their helmet. So that's another reason I was excited, to watch them play this year and to watch them play last year in the semis, because you never got to see it in high school. Because even though they were 45 minutes from each other, they were 2 different classifications, and they just never ran into each other in the regular season. So I was glad I got to watch it, and I wish I could see it a third time. It might not be till in the NFL, because right now it's Trevor won, Justin won.
Who's better in high school, in your opinion?
Trevor. Trevor was better in high school. Now, Trevor was better in a career. Justin started to peak his senior year. Because he actually, at the end of the rankings, I think it was 24/7. His senior year, I believe he surpassed Trevor as the number 1 overall player in the country his senior year. But Trevor started as a freshman and played. I think Justin might have started as a sophomore, I believe. But like I said, Trevor won 2 or 3 state championships, and I think he won 2. And Justin never even. I don't think Justin ever even played for one.
Oh,
but Trevor definitely had a more talented team for sure. But Trevor in high school, throughout a career, was definitely better. I think it's either him or Deshaun Watson. I think he actually broke Deshaun Watson's passing record in Georgia for all-time passing yards in a high school career.
Wait, Deshaun Watson's from Georgia?
He's from Gainesville, Georgia, man.
Huh, that's interesting. That is interesting. I actually did not know that. Deshaun Watson's from Georgia. So they go to college. I think everybody would say Trevor's been better in college, though. Justin looked really, really good last weekend on Friday. He looked really good. And he looked tough. He took a tough hit. I was like, oh my. I didn't think he was coming back in the game. I thought he had broken ribs. I was like, there's no way this dude's coming back in. And then he comes back in. And at first it wasn't pretty. He kind of tried to get back into it again. Stayed in the pocket, delivered all of these throws, and he looked really good.
He looked great. I mean, honestly, I know he was a Heisman finalist last year, but there was actually quite a few analysts, saying that Justin. I mean, he was good still. He's still Justin Fields, but he wasn't the Justin Fields we're used to seeing. And I think he shut up all those critics against Clemson the other night. And I think he put, the Alabama Crimson Tide and Nick Saban on notice. That Trevor's not the only quarterback in that class that you need to worry about.
Do you think Trevor helped the stock enough for some people to say that he's better than Trevor Lawrence for the draft?
I don't know. That's tough. I mean, I know he did amazing, but at the end of the day, it still is just one game. For me, it's a little bit different for me because, like I said, I've seen both these guys play since they were in the 9th grade. So, if I have to pick one, especially at the next level, I think I'm taking Trevor. But when I say that, that's not necessarily Justin's not like light years away from him is what I'm trying to say, because there's not many people that I would take over Justin, if that makes sense. But Trevor is one of those few people.
And how high are you on Trevor? Because you've mentioned this for a long time. You're super high on Trevor.
Oh, he'll be his number 1 pick. I said that when he was a junior in high school. I'll never forget it, dude. my junior year, we were down there watching him play, and we were actually on the sideline, got sideline passes because my dad's actually an offensive coordinator at a school in North Georgia. So we're on the sideline sitting there, and he rolls out, and he gets like bodied up by this defensive end who actually ended up playing for Georgia, so he wasn't no scrub. Shoves him off of him, turns around and throws like a 40-yard back across the field. You know, as a quarterback, you're told to never throw across the field. Throws it to the back corner pylon, puts it right over the kid's head, right in front of the out-of-bounds line. Kid catches it for a touchdown. My dad turns and looks at me, and I look at him all at the same time. And we both just like shook our head, and he was just like, I'm 50 years old. I've been watching high school football for my whole life. He said, that's the best quarterback I've ever seen. I said, he'll get drafted number one day. I said, you watch. And he's going to get drafted number one. There's no doubt.